Welcome back. Well, we turn our attention to Ese Oruru's abduction, and we're joined now by Dr. Abiola Akiyode Afolabi, who is a rights activist. She's the founding director of Women Advocates Research and Documentation Center. Also, now a lecturer in Faculty of Law, University of Lagos. Thank you for coming on this morning.
You're welcome.
Well, the case is developing with new twists as we look at them on a regular basis, but now, thankfully, she's reunited with her family, and then they conducted some tests. They've seen that she's pregnant, and accusations and counter-accusations continue making the rounds. But then, have we gotten to that point where we can say, well, we at least have succeeded in ensuring that these things gotten to this stage, but should we be worried about the police angle, which is prosecuting or finding out what exactly happened?
I thank you very much. I think we should be worried about a lot of things beyond the police issue. We should be worried about the system generally, because I think the case has a lot of dimension. It's social, it's political, it's also legal. It's unfortunate that despite all the discussion around child not bride, the issue of child marriage, that we're still coming back, to address that, as a country, because I think what this has brought forward is it has brought forward a lot of issues about how viable are our laws. The criminal code is clear about the issue of abduction. So I am a little bit worried the attitude of the police in terms of not doing what they are supposed to do, because ordinarily we would have expected that they should have prosecuted UNISA. We thank God that the young girl is back home, but all this while from August up until February, it makes you to be very, very angry about the state of things. And that's why I said it has a lot of dimension. The police is one, and the emir angle is also another thing, because I can't see in the constitution of Nigeria where the emir also has a right, to keep a child in his custody for whatever reason. So there are a lot of issues that this is bringing out. And if you remember, when the discussion around the constitution was on, this was one of the major issues that was coming up about how does our constitution describe a child that is married, because they call the child that is married a woman. So, and we have a child rights law which specifically by section 21 to 23 is clear about what happens to a child when a child is 18. It cannot be married off by anyone. It's illegal. So what UNISA has done is quite illegal. It's not recognized under law. It's an abduction. It's child stealing. It's kidnapping. In actual fact, it has normally, if we have a good police, its charge would be filled with a lot of offenses. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. People were using their own discretion, talking about it as a normal thing, that things that people should. And so you can see the role of the police in this whole thing, which shows the conspiracy around the system, the police, the government, the power that be, the powerless and the powerful. So it's raised a lot of issues, and I think that is why we should be worried as Nigerians, because this came up maybe because the social media picked it up, maybe because Punch did a good story, maybe because the nation also followed through, and maybe because it was gradually becoming an embarrassment, not only here but also internationally. But then we should ask ourselves, how many children are being taken off like this?
I was going to ask you that, because when you've just talked about the role of the police and the government, but what about the society? Because this Ese's case now has raised the issue of some other girl in Sokoto, taken from Benue, and another one in some other place. So this Ese's case is just one. There are several others of girls who've been abducted, allegedly abducted. So what does it say of our society and how much attention we're paying to our environment?
I think it's a major challenge, even with the police. I remember as a right activist, about 2-3 years ago, there was a particular man in Ketu who abducted a young girl, and we went to Ken Salem to go and report. And they asked us to provide a bus. We took them to Ketu Market. The man was the head of the Ketu Market. And we took the man to Ken Salem, right here in Lagos. It was about a 12-year-old child. And when we got to Ken Salem, they were almost resolving the matter. Then some big guys started coming in with cars, and the next thing, the story changed. We had to take the girl to Songwater, and got Elewe on police station. So my point is that this is not just new. It's something that is happening in Nigeria on a daily basis. And I think that the police, there's a need for a thorough investigation.
What would say, for instance, the case of the Lagos girl, and you said someone also came, maybe a big, in quotes,
yes,
Are we talking about a syndicate here now, or just mere accomplice?
No, I think it's a syndicate thing, and I was surprised because in that instance, the mother started crying, and the DIG there then asked us an interesting question: if this had happened in Jigawa, would you have brought this girl to the police station? That was the question, and we were shocked. And it was just lambasting of all these human rights people and things like that. And we had to take the girl to Songwater to get to another place where they can address the matter before the matter was addressed. And they brought the man to come. And what the police did at the end of the day, even for that matter, was to ask the man to sign an order, taking that he would not run after the girl. So my point is that it seems that the police has lost its focus in terms of addressing the issue of abduction. And the criminal code is very clear. Section 361, 362, 363. 362 in particular talked about girls under 16. When you take a girl under 16 from the lawful custody of the parent, it is a misdemeanor. It's a criminal offense. In 361, it's a felony. So my point is that it's not as if this is not spelled out in our law. And the child rights law is also clear. Section 27 of the child rights law also talks about abduction. You can't abduct, and it talks to the extent that you can't take a child from a particular state to another state. As if because if you look at the intention of the lawmakers, it must have been based on what has been happening.
Because these are dots to connect. Now you're bringing it on the front page of one of the dailies today. We get to see the hut that Yunusa was living in Bayelsa. He wasn't staying in a proper home. So if he was in that hut, so many questions people are asking. Where did he get money to transport not one but two people? Meaning both of them left Bayelsa to faraway north in Kano State, and now the father has been speaking. Is it likely that now that we're talking about another case in Sokoto, that we have some people who are in the habit of stealing children, taking them home, and maybe marry them off without the family raising an alarm that my child or my ward has brought in someone strange?
Well, I think there might be a syndicate, and that's why that's important, because nobody's above the law. I think that the Emir of Kano has a lot to say about this. The child can be in the Emir's palace from August till February. There's no justification whatsoever for that. And I don't see anywhere in the constitution where there's an immunity covering the kings and all of that. So